Hello and welcome to the verse of the day. My name is Pastor David Pranga. I'm on staff with Brewster Baptist Church. And this week I've been sharing about evangelism and how we can be a blessing to our neighbor and anybody that God brings our way. And today's story is from the book of Mark, chapter 5, and I'm going to paraphrase the story for you. In the story we meet this demon-possessed man, and the man lived with an evil spirit inside of him. And this evil spirit gave him like this incredible strength. And this incredible strength, people would like have iron chains around his hands and his feet, and he would just break free. Nothing could hold him back. And he would live all by himself in these tombs and hills. And he even mentioned that he would cut himself with stones. And nobody could subdue him. Nobody knew what to do with him. And nobody could help him. And one day, he saw Jesus from a distance. So he runs to Jesus and he falls on his knees in front of Jesus. And he cries out to Jesus to heal him. And in Jesus' love and his mercy, Jesus performs this miracle. And Jesus says to him, "Come out of you, this impure spirit." And this impure spirit leaves the man at once. And the man was healed. And we pick up the story in Mark chapter 5, verses 18 through 20. I just want to read it to you. It says, as Jesus was getting into the boat, the man who had been demon-possessed begged to go with him. But Jesus said he didn't let him. He says, "Go home to your own people and tell them how much the Lord has done for you and how he had mercy on you." So the man went away and began to tell in Decapolis, which is like 10 different cities, how much Jesus had done for him, and all the people were amazed. See, this demon-possessed man was healed, and all he wanted to do was to follow Jesus and go with the disciples. And Jesus says, "You know what? I don't want you to do that. I want you to go home and tell them how much the Lord had done for you. Tell them about the miracle. Tell them about how I had mercy on you." And that's what the man did. He shared his testimony with the people around him, and all the people were amazed at what happened to the man and about what Jesus did. So this week I talked about how we can be blessing to the people around us. And I use this word bless as an acronym, which represents an activity that we can do. And the first letter is B, and it stands for praying for our neighbors. And we should be praying for our neighbors daily. Just pick 4 or 6 of our neighbors and how we can just pray for them. And then we looked at L, which is like the art of listening. And every one of us, we want to be listened to. We want people to hear what we have to say, and we have to practice that. And then we come up to the letter E, which is always my favorite, is getting together with people and eating with them, whether it's having a meal with them or going out for coffee, but just really, getting to know them at a deeper level. And then yesterday we talked about S, which is serving our neighbors. And serving our neighbors is just understanding that our neighbors are going through difficult times. They're going through times where they can need help, and we need to look for opportunities where we can serve them in a tangible way, which leads us up to the last S, which is simply sharing our story. See, just as the demon-possessed man shared his story with everyone, Jesus wants us to share our stories of how he is a blessing in our lives with other people. See, as believers, we all have a story. We all have a testimony to share, how Jesus has made a difference and influenced our life. But often we think that our story is nothing special. Who would want to hear our story? But that's not how Jesus looks at us. Jesus cares about our story, and he wants us to share that with others. And it may be possible for us to influence people and tell them. I love what D.T. Niles said. He says, Christianity is one beggar telling another beggar where he found bread. So how do we go about sharing the good news? I want you to think of these 3 questions. Part 1 is my life before Jesus. If you can remember back maybe to how your life was before you met Christ, you could share about that. Maybe a struggle that you were going through. And it leads us to part number 2 is how I met Jesus. How did you become a Christian? Maybe you want to share that, or how Jesus helped you overcome the struggle. But the third part is the most important, and this is where you should spend your time, is like, once you've met Jesus, how is my life different now that I know Jesus? And you can share about how Jesus has been part of your life and how he's helped you overcome a struggle. Or it may be just like, it could be simply as just sharing about how Jesus has transformed your life, or how you rely upon him, or how he gives you peace or joy. So I just want to remember that each one of us, we have a story, and we need to share that story with others. Well, thank you for joining with me, not only today, but this entire week as we talked about how we can be a blessing to our neighbor. God bless and have yourself a wonderful day.